Hey, welcome to this month of Staffing Monthly. And if you were looking at this issue, I wanted to give you some framework for really what we're going to be focusing on right now, mainly in this issue. And then we're going to be emphasizing some of these concepts in the coming issues that you're going to see over the next few months. So if you are in staffing and recruiting, obviously, you know, the most important thing that we do is recruit talent and place that talent into jobs, whether it be assignments, contracts, direct placement, whatever. But at some point, we have to recruit talent and then put them on some sort of placement, right? So what I want to talk to you about today is a concept called the recruiting quadrant. This is a diagram. It is a 4-square, which, as you know, is one of my favorite business tools. But this is just a good representation of really the main areas that you're going to funnel talent into your pipeline and ultimately into those placements. So I want to walk you through which each one of these quadrants is, and then I'm going to be talking in depth about how to optimize these quadrants in the interviews in this issue. And I'm also going to be sourcing some subject matter experts to help us better understand how to get the most out of each quadrant for you so you can improve the quantity, the quality, and your placements overall. So let's take a look at this. So here, what you're looking at is you're just seeing a representation, basically just a diagram of what this 4-square is, the recruiting quadrant, right? So we're talking about recruitment marketing, job boards, employee referral program, ATS mining. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But just this is the layout. These are the 4 main areas that you need to be considering in your strategic plan when you're planning out your recruitment efforts. However, these things don't live in a silo. There's certainly other components of your tech stack, you know, and processes that go around it. If you see up here, we have the website that sort of lives like this, and then you have your ATS on the back end, right? Website is very much consumer facing, your candidates, your clients. It's sort of the outward expression of your brand, but it's also the outward facing top of the funnel, right? This is really where, you know, you're going to drive people to, and then they're going to get a sense for who you are. They're going to engage with your company through, you know, viewing jobs on your career site, or, you know, doing a quick application, or whatever it might be, reading your blog content, whatever it might be, they're going to be engaging on your website. But on the back end, you have your applicant tracking system. This is your software, you know, and obviously this is probably the most important piece of technology that staffing and recruiting firms have. So it has to be easy to use. It has to be optimized, right? You have to be able to get the most out of it, but you can see it actually integrates with this quadrant, you know, and it also integrates with your website. So this is what I'm going to be breaking down, how all this works together. So in this recruitment marketing quadrant, this right here is all of your candidate facing marketing efforts. This is going to be things where you are, you know, maybe doing Facebook ads to drive traffic in, or other, you know, maybe traditional or modern marketing techniques, and you're applying it to the recruitment field, right? You're going to be trying to use, you know, maybe retargeting or remarketing efforts on your website. But typically recruitment marketing is the most outward facing of all of these and only interacts with the website, right? Your efforts are designed to capture a wider audience and then bring them back to your website so they can view the jobs on your career site, or they can quick apply and then get into your ATS. Job boards, this one's easy. Everybody knows about job boards. This is the mainstay in the recruiting industry and the staffing industry. Everybody uses all the job boards. In my opinion, I think we're over reliant on job boards. But this quadrant is obviously important. This is a main tenet in your recruiting strategy, and you need to be aware of it. But it's not just your posting strategy. There's actually job ad optimization techniques that you're going to learn about, especially in this issue here, when Steve Smith actually breaks down his job ad optimization piece, which is an amazing video. It will blow your mind at some of the things that you should be doing. But then there's other things that you can be doing, like programmatic job advertisement, right? You've heard me talk quite a bit about that in the past. That is a technique that you need to be relying on. And if you're not super familiar with how to actually do that, you can reach out to companies like Haley Marketing, and they can guide you through that process. But you see, job boards interacts with your website, and it also interacts with the ATS. And that's why it's in this upper right quadrant, is because it has this level interactivity with it. So You're driving people from job boards. They might come to your website. They might just go quick apply directly into your ATS. There's different routes that you need to be thinking about, but this is the visual you should be looking at when you're considering how to build all these things together and integrate them effectively, right? Bottom left, employee referral program. You know where I stand on this one. It is the year of the referral. The data is in. Job board costs skyrocketed last year, inexplicably up 43%, yet the available candidates only increased 3%. So if you're over reliant on job boards and you feel like you've been struggling with getting candidates, that fit the jobs or less, and you've been kind of struggling with retention, this tells you that it's time to diversify and have multiple streams of recruitment based in this quadrant here. And I believe that the employee referral program is the way to go, because really this is creating an army of ambassadors, people that are out there that are chanting about your brand, right? And they're telling people, hey, go apply to this company, go work for this staffing or recruiting firm. It's an amazing way to have a lot of hands making light work for your recruitment. And the data is also in on this one. Most people will report that they actually found their current job through a referral, right? So it's a very natural human interaction way to get a job. The data also suggests that candidates that get placed on an assignment via a referral as the source tend to be a higher performer and last longer, which means happier clients, less backfilling of orders, and the ability to grow your revenue faster, right? So the main reason that I think a lot of people didn't really dig into the employee referral program as much is because it's a little bit harder to set up, because you have to do some foundational things, which frankly are worth it, because you're going to be building a better business and a better company. And you see the employee referral program is directly in this bottom left. It's going to be interacting with your website as much as your ATS, right? Because you're going to be pushing notifications out to the people in your ATS saying, hey, go refer these jobs. And people that are referred are going to come back usually through your website, right? So those three pieces have to be integrated. Bottom right, ATS mining, your applicant tracking system mining. This is an area that is also a frontier that needs to be explored. Staffing and recruiting firms do a whole lot of effort and pay money to get candidates into their ATS, yet they're not effectively deploying them and nurturing that audience as much as they should. And just because you post a job ad or ask for referrals or drive a Facebook advertising campaign that gets candidates to you, and you only select 3 of them, it doesn't mean that the other 20 that ended up in your applicant tracking system aren't usable, right? They could be good candidates for other clients, other jobs. And it's our responsibility as staffing agencies and recruiting firms to be a good steward of this community that we're building, right? So you need to have effective tools that make it easy for your recruiters to really mine this database on a regular basis to create a more nurtured, curated community of talent in your database, but also a more engaged audience, so that when you are asking for employee referrals, when you are broadcasting your jobs to them, these people are going to raise their hand, they're going to identify. And by mastering these 4 quadrants and making sure the integration between the website and the ATS is in lockstep, you will drive your recruitment costs down. This is how you optimize your recruitment costs. So I want to talk a little bit about the integration. You see the layout of this 4 square is very specific. When you're looking in this top right at job boards, obviously the job boards have to integrate with your ATS and vice versa, right? They have to be able to, you should be able to create a job in your ATS and push it out to all of the various job boards that you want to. And when people do their applications on a job board, it should be able to go directly into your applicant tracking system and create a profile. That's going to be super efficient. It's going to create the best candidate experience. But also your website should integrate with your ATS. So if somebody comes to your career site and they apply to a job there, just like if they apply to a job on Indeed or Monster or anywhere else, it should be able to go directly into your ATS. Or if they go to your website and they upload a new resume, it should be able to find that candidate in your ATS and update the profile record, right? And then vice versa, as you are posting those jobs in your ATS, it should be able to push it directly out to your career site alongside the other job boards. So you're seeing there's a level of integration that has to happen in this quadrant. Whereas with your ATS mining, not a lot of integration has to happen with the website. This is just immersed with your ATS, right? Recruitment marketing, not a lot of integration has to happen with your ATS. This is all just immersed with the website. I think I might have just said that backward on the ATS mining. This one's fully immersed in the ATS, not the website. This one's fully immersed in the website, not so much the ATS. But then your employee referral program, again, this has to be integrated between your website and your ATS, because as you're pushing out jobs to your employer referral program, you're going to want to be able to push it out of your ATS into your brand ambassadors, right? And then they're going to direct people back to the website to see those jobs that were posted. So this is a really important, integration that you need to have. Now, the next piece I want to share is I want to give you an idea of some of the companies that that focusing these. And once I start to tell you the companies, you're gonna be like, okay, now I know which quadrant I'm serving by working with these. And if you're building out your map, you don't want to be overpopulated in one and underserved in another. So just to give you kind of an idea, when you're looking at recruitment marketing, companies like Haley Marketing that focus on marketing your company, right? And they can do candidate marketing. They can run recruitment marketing campaigns for your agency. Then there's companies like Dahlia that focus on using some of the most popular e-commerce, e-retail, remarketing and retargeting techniques on your website. There's a lot of data out there that will suggest that people that visit your website that don't apply could apply, but because we don't really capture them like e-commerce does. We've all been on a website looking at golf clubs or a car or a shirt or shoes or whatever. Then all of a sudden we start seeing ads for that. And then we're like, yeah, you know what? I do want those shoes, right? So I want to buy those shoes, whatever it might be for you. That's what Dahlia does for staffing. It's like, maybe a candidate goes to your career site and they look at something, they're like, I'm not ready to quick apply. It's going to start sending them information to bring them back into your candidate funnel, right? So that's a traditional marketing tool. Job boards. This is where you're actually working to optimize your job ad strategy. You're going to be thinking about, using some of the techniques that Steve Smith is going to be sharing in today's issue, and then some of the future ones we have him teed up for, but also programmatic ad strategy. How are you rotating through? How are you optimizing your spend per job ad, right? So you're going to be looking at how do I actually optimize this? Employer referral programs. Obviously, the gold standard in the staffing industry is staffing referrals. This is really where, they've got the lion's share of the market share because of what they do and what they've built. They're fully integrated between, websites and their ATSs, things like that. Then you get into the ATS mining, tools like Candidate that you're going to learn a little bit more about in this issue, tools like the Aviante 24/7 Pixel and Herefish. These are all different automation tools that you can actually use to make sure you're constantly nurturing your database and finding talent. So when you do create a job, it will automatically get to the people that are within your database that should see it. And so they can engage with that job, right? And then if you look at what's actually enveloping around the outside, websites like ApplyFlow, this is one of those companies that is creating integrated websites to the ATS. They understand how the technology needs to flow. So they're actually building websites that are integrated with job boards that can support recruitment marketing techniques, that can actually integrate directly with the ATSs with two-way integration, which is huge, right? There's so many benefits to that, and your website needs to be part of that conversation. And then obviously applicant tracking systems or softwares like Aviante. This is an end-to-end solution out there that has all of this, and they're building so many integrations to help you, like their 24/7 Pixel tool that's going to be, coming out in full force. That's going to be amazing. And then they obviously integrate with partners like staffing referrals, and they integrate with all of the job boards. They do all of these things and they create those integrations. So those are just some examples of companies that you've seen that to show you how this would actually look if you were overlaying your tech stack. But then there's some other examples, and I'm calling this one out specifically because we're going to go deep on this one. But then there's other tools and resources that they're not the actual recruitment channel, but they are a foundational component, and they will optimize each recruitment channel. Like if you're thinking about, recruitment marketing and employer referral programs, and even job boards, when people see your ads, they're going to come back to your website and they're going to get a sense. They're going to basically look at your first impression and they're going to say, do I trust this company? Is this somebody that I want to apply with and trust, put my trust in them and put my career in their hands, right? Like that's just the logical process that all human beings go through when we're introduced to something new. We say, can I trust this? Is this good for me, right? So something that you need is social proof. This is a major fundamental marketing tenet. This is why reviews exist. And this is where you'll see things like Great Recruiters. This is a social proof tool, and if you want to optimize your recruitment marketing when you're driving all of this traffic back to your website, right? They're going to look at your website and those people are going to say, what do I know about this company and can I trust them? And if they see a lot of other candidates that are rating you really, really well, that creates social proof, it creates instant credibility, and it's going to increase the number of candidates that apply. Same thing with the employee referral program. You know, if I referred one of my friends to your staffing agency and they didn't know anything about you, right? But they knew me, and then they go to your career site and they actually look at it and they're like, wow, this is amazing. But then they see all of these, 4.5, 4.6 star reviews about how good of an agency you are with a lot of other job seekers that have entrusted their careers to this agency. It's going to compel them to apply with you, right? Whereas if you don't have those ratings and reviews, you might not capture everybody, and that's a negative thing. And we need more candidates right now. And we certainly want more candidates that are discerning with who they do business with, right? Because it's typically the candidates that's like, do I really trust this agency to treat me well and take good care of me with my career, right? Like that level of discernment generally speaks to a more thoughtful person, stereotypically speaking, right? So there is a correlation between the quality of candidates you will get through these programs if they're optimized with social proof like Great Recruiters. And you're going to learn more about that. You're actually going to see how their platform works in this later in this issue. But I wanted to share this concept. This is the recruiting quadrant, and this is how it interacts with different, service partners out there, how it works with your tech stack. You can start to see this is laid out. But when you're building your strategic plan for the year, there needs to be a technology and process component to it that supports this. You need to know, how does my website support recruitment? And specifically, how does it support job boards, my recruitment marketing plan, and my employee referral program? How does it integrate with my ATS? And how does my ATS support my employee referral program and my ATS mining and my job boards? And how does it integrate with my website, right? And you need to be able to track all of these sources so you can see where your placements are really coming from. And then you can actually optimize your spend and figure out what that best ROI is for you. So this is the foundation of what we're going to be talking about this month. And you're going to hear me refer to this a lot because we're going to be dissecting this to help you get a better recruiting quadrant built for your company and part of your strategic plan.